Okay, so our today's discussion is about kinetic theory of gases. Okay, so we are starting a new topic here that is called kinetic theory theory of gases. Okay, so far our discussion is on thermodynamics. Okay, so where we have studied about the macroscopic quantities. Okay, we have related the macroscopic quantities. Now here the behavior of the gases. Okay, so far we have understand the behavior of the gases in terms of the pressure, volume, and temperature. Now these are called macroscopic quantities. Okay, so what is meant by pressure? See, what is meant by microscopic and macroscopic? So macro means large, micro means small here. Okay, so if you take the first law of thermodynamics, in the first law of thermodynamics we have related work, internal energy, and the heat energy. Okay, so it is related to a system. Okay, we are talking about a particular system. In that particular system, our main interest is on their volume, their pressure, their temperature. Okay, so you can see that now that particular equations, that particular law, it only depends on the macro system. Okay, doesn't depend on the micro system. Micro system is now here. For an example, okay, so I have a Mayer's relation, that is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So the Mayer's relation says that the difference between the specific heat of any two gases is always equal to R. If you take 1 mole of the gases, okay, so 1 mole of a gas, if you calculate the difference between the specific heats, then you will get is equal to universal gas constant. So in this particular equation, it is independent of the nature of the gas. Okay, whatever may be the gas here, so your Cp minus Cv is always a constant quantity. That means what? Now this formula doesn't depend on the microscopic quantity. So which are the microscopic quantity? So for an example, if a system, okay, if you're considering oxygen, okay, if you take an oxygen gas, okay, you have a system, the system contains the oxygen gas. In thermodynamics, you have studied the pressure exerted by the gas on the system, the volume of the gas, and the temperature. Okay, so we have not mentioned the nature of the gas here. It may be oxygen, it may be nitrogen, whatever may be. I've taken this particular part as a system. Okay, so our interest is on system. Okay, so therefore, so by only considering the system and the surrounding, we have taken. Okay, we have derived larger equations, and we studied certain phenomena also. Okay, but if I want to study the entire behavior of gases, then we require certain additional theories which should be represented in the form of microscopic quantities, like the mass of the gas, okay, the size of the gas, the velocity of the gas, the energy of the gas molecules. Okay, so are you getting me? So far we have studied the classical thermodynamics. In the classical physics, we always discuss about the larger quantities, macro quantities. Okay, so we are taking the macroscopic quantities like volume. It's the volume of the entire gas. We're discussing about the volume of an container, volume of the gas. Okay, so your interest is not on the volume of an individual gas molecule. So if you take the volume of an individual gas molecule, then it is called micro. Okay, if you take the entire system, then it is called macro. Okay, so to study this behavior of gases, okay, if you want to know the entire behavior of gases, because the behavior of the gas is very important, because we are surrounded by, okay, so our surrounding is maximum the gases only, and the gases behave in a very significant manner. Okay, if the temperature changes, volume of the solid and liquid changes by very small quantities. Some materials it is unaffected. Okay, you can't see in the larger quantity. It can take place in terms of some millimeters. But if you look at the gases, okay, if you go for the gases, then you can see that the small change in temperature it produces the large change in the volume of the gases. Okay, so therefore the So the behavior, the interest of the gas is more compared to our solids and liquids. And this theories, there are certain theories which easily explain the behavior of the gases, which we are going to study in the lower gases. Okay, so in the lower classes we study such kind of theories like kinetic theory of gases, where we are interpreting. Okay, we are saying we are connecting the macroscopic quantity in terms of microscopic quantity, because in other cases we have studied the macroscopic quantity, we have the large number of laws. Here we are connecting that macroscopic quantities in terms of microscopic quantity by using the particular theory called kinetic theory of gases. Okay, so to study this microscopic quantities, actually we have two theories. One is the kinetic theory of gases, and second is the statistical theory. Okay, so which you are going to study in the higher classes. Okay, statistical mechanics. Okay, you can study again this thermodynamics by using the particles, the smaller particles. Okay, if you study that behavior, if you study that statistics, now that particular section is called statistical thermodynamics, statistical mechanics. Okay, where you are going to take the group of particles. To that group of particles, they call it as ensembles, and we have the larger discussion of ensembles like this micro, macro, grand, canonical ensembles like this. Okay, you will have that beautiful theory, but in higher classes. Okay, but in this particular class, our entire focus is on kinetic theory of gases. Okay, so in kinetic theory of gases, we make certain assumptions to give certain laws here, and that is that assumptions. Okay, so that which obey these gases, we call it as the ideal gas like this. Okay, so we make certain assumptions that. So before going into this, so the exact postulate or the theory of kinetic theory, let me start with the connection of pressure, volume and temperature. First again, let me start with our macroscopic quantity, that is pressure, volume and temperature. First I have to relate the relation between these macroscopic quantities, and in the next lecture, let us try to have an brief discussion on kinetic theory of gases. Okay, so let me start with gas laws. Okay, so let me start with our gas laws. Okay, gas laws. Okay, so some gas laws here. See, you have to connect pressure, volume, and temperature. Okay, the force exerted by the gas molecules on the walls of the containers per unit area is called pressure. Okay, the space available for the movement of the gas molecules. Okay, the space available for the movement of the gas molecule, we call it as volume, and the temperature, the degree of hotness or coldness, is measured by the temperature. Okay, so the gas laws means the laws which connect this pressure, volume, and temperature. By using that one, we can use the state of a gas. Okay, equation of state of a gas, and we can study the behavior of the gas also. They are called as gas laws. Okay, so the first relation between this pressure, volume, and temperature, it is attempted by Robert Boyle. Okay, in 1662. Therefore, this law is called Boyle's law. Your first law is the Boyle's law. Okay, so Boyle has given the relation between pressure and volume. Okay, but he has not given the relation between all these three quantities. He has given the relation between pressure and volume. So to give the relation between pressure and volume, so Boyle assumed that your gas should be at constant temperature. Okay, so what does this Boyle's law say? The Boyle's law says that for a given, okay, so for a given mass of the gas, okay, for a given mass of a gas, volume of the gas, okay, this volume of the gas is inversely volume of the gas is inversely proportional to inversely proportional to pressure. Inversely proportional to pressure of the gas, provided, now this is true, provided temperature is kept constant, provided the temperature is kept constant. Now this is a Boyle's law. Okay, so Boyle's law says that how the pressure and volume are related. Your pressure is inversely proportional to volume, or volume is inversely proportional to pressure. But this is true. This is 100% true. Okay, so when your temperature is kept constant. Okay, so if I represent this in terms of a mathematical form, then I can say that when two quantities are inversely proportional, we make it equal here. So I have to write P equal to, then I have to take the proportionality constant. So P is equal to constant by V. Therefore, you can see that your PV is constant. So PV is constant. Now this is the mathematical form of Boyle's law. Okay, your pressure increases, the volume decreases, but the product of pressure and volume, it remains constant. Okay, so now this is a mathematical form of the Boyle's law. Now see, so this is the first law which gives the relation between pressure and volume. If I plot the graph here, if I plot the graph of pressure and volume, the graph is somewhat like this. As your volume increases, your pressure decreases. Okay, so your pressure, if the volume increases, the pressure decreases. So next you have, okay, after some years, so one more person comes into the picture, and he has given the relation between, okay, he has given the relation between, in 1787, Charles, okay, so he has given the relation between volume and temperature. So now that law is called Charles law. Okay, so Charles law. So Charles law says that, now in statement is same, for a given mass of a gas, okay, for a given mass of a gas, volume is this time directly proportional to, volume is directly proportional to the temperature, volume is directly proportional to the temperature. Okay, now this is true, provided pressure is kept constant. Okay, provided the pressure is kept constant. Okay, so it says that the volume of the gas is directly proportional to temperature. As temperature increases, the volume also increases. Okay, so increases means, now here, so it is proportional here. What is meant by proportional? What is the difference between increasing and proportional? Increase means what? As temperature increases, the volume increases. As your age increases, your height increases. Okay, as your age increases, your height increases. That is the meaning of increasing. What's meant by proportionality? If it is in the same ratio. Okay, when you are in age of 1, your height is 1 feet. When you reach your age of 2 years, if your height becomes 2 feet, and your age becomes 3, then your height becomes 3. But that is called proportionality. It's called proportionality. Okay, so volume is proportional to temperature. Okay, temperature increases, so every material expands on heating. As we studied in the thermal properties of matter, when you supply heat energy to the system, okay, so if you raise the temperature, definitely the size of the material increases. Now this is general property of the material. Okay, so the material expands on heating. But proportional, in this case it is proportional, volume is proportional to temperature. Now this is possible when you are keeping your pressure constant. Okay, if you keep the pressure constant, then the volume is directly proportional to temperature. Okay, if I want to write in terms of mathematical form, again, so when two quantities are proportional, we make them equal by taking certain constant. So this is a proportionality constant. So you can write it as V is equal to constant into T, or you can say that V by T is constant. Now this is the mathematical form of, okay, so this is the mathematical form of Charles' law. Okay, so if you plot the graph of volume versus temperature, the graph will be like this. Okay, as the volume increases, your temperature increases. Proportionality, straight line. You should get as straight line because it is proportional. Okay, the same manner, the volume increases as the temperature increases. So therefore, your nature of the graph should be an straight line. Okay. So you have the one more law by the name called Gay-Lussac law. Okay, so Gay-Lussac law. This is also called as Charles' law for pressure. Now this is for Charles' law for volume. Okay, it says that for a given, okay, so Gay-Lussac law says that for a given mass of the gas, the pressure, okay, the pressure. Now this is called Gay-Lussac law. Okay, law says that for a given mass of the gas, the pressure is directly proportional to temperature, provided volume is kept constant. Okay, that is called Gay-Lussac law, which gives a relation between the pressure and the temperature. Okay, the pressure increases in the same manner as that of the volume, provided your volume is kept constant. Okay, so the pressure is directly proportional to temperature, but your volume is kept constant. Therefore, okay, so therefore you can see that this is can be written as P by T is equal to constant. Okay, so this is called Gay-Lussac law. Okay, so Boyle's law, Charles' law, or Gay-Lussac law, they have given the relation between the two physical quantities. Okay, either about the pressure, they are talking about either the pressure of volume, or they are talking about the volume or temperature. Okay, pressure or temperature, like this. Okay, so none of the law has given the direct relation between all these three physical quantities. Okay, so one or the other case, the term changes, but in the nature it is not possible. Okay, you can't keep the one term constant and you are going to change other two terms here. Okay, so because the nature behaves in the somewhat in a typical manner. Okay, and therefore, see, sometimes we need some ideal conditions to explain our theories. Okay, so we have to restrict our the behavior into a certain stream so that our discussion becomes an easier. So here also in this particular topic, kinetic theory of gases, we make certain assumptions on the gases. Okay, we make certain restriction on the gases. Okay, so we are making certain restrictions and we are purposefully forcing them to behave in that particular manner. Okay, and such kind of gases we call it the ideal gases. We call it as ideality. Okay, in every condition, if something should be good, okay, so okay, proper discussion takes place, we make certain restriction on the theories. Okay, similarly here is also, so we are making this restriction on the gases. Okay, we are making the behavior of the gases in a particular path, in a particular behavior, and the gases which obey all these the conditions which are made by, okay, so for the sake of proper discussion, we call that gases as ideal gas or perfect gas. Okay, so the ideal gas or perfect gas, see, we have taken certain assumptions or postulate which will be discussed in the, okay, so next lecture. So today's class, okay, so simply I going to derive the equation of an ideal gas or perfect gas by taking a single statement. Okay, so that is what is meant by ideal gas or perfect gas? We say that the gas which obey Boyle's law and Charles' law at all conditions of temperature and pressure. If this gases obey this laws, then we call it as the gas. Okay. If person is obeying certain laws made by that particular country, we call it as ideal citizen. The same manner. Okay. Who is ideal? So there are certain laws are there. Okay. For a particular country, they are making a well-framed law. Okay. To run the country, and if the citizens exactly behave in the same manner as decided by that particular government, the government makes a laws, and if the citizens behave, if they obey the laws in a perfect manner, then we call it as a good citizen. Okay, ideal citizens. In the same manner, okay, so we make certain postulate, we make certain laws, and the gas which obey these laws are called ideal gas or perfect gas. Okay, so therefore our gas should obey the gas laws at all conditions of temperature and pressure. If that gases are obeying, then such kind of gases are called perfect gas, or it is also called as perfect gas or ideal gas. Okay, what is meant by perfect gas or ideal gas? The gases which obey. Okay, so the gases which obey the gases which obey this Boyle's law and Charles' law at all the conditions of temperature and pressure. Now this is very important. All the conditions of temperature and pressure. Now such kind of gases we call it as a perfect gas. Okay, so first let me derive the equation for an perfect gas. Okay, equation of state for an perfect gas here. So what is a perfect gas? The gas. Okay, the gas which obey okay, Boyle's law, and Charles' law at all temperature and pressure, okay, the gas which obey Boyle's law and Charles' law at all temperatures and pressure. Now this is very important, all temperatures and pressure. It is called, okay, now that particular gas is called ideal gas or perfect gas. Okay, so but now here, now the gas simultaneously cannot obey Boyle's law and Charles' law. Reason is, see, when you are seeing the Boyle's law, okay, when you are saying the statement of an Boyle's law says that you have to keep the temperature constant. Then you can change the pressure and volume. But Charles' law says that when the temperature is changing, your volume is changing. Okay, that means at the same time you cannot. Okay, so make to obey Boyle's law as well as the Charles' law. Okay, so the gas at one condition it should obey Boyle's law, at some other conditions it obey Charles' law. So not at the same time, it may be simultaneous. At some condition, if the gas can obey Boyle's law, or at some other conditions it can obey the Charles' law. Okay, but anyhow, if it is throughout journey, if it is obey Boyle's as well as Charles' law, then I can say that it is a perfect gas. Okay, remember one thing, that at the same time we can't make, okay, so to obey we can't okay, so say that the gas should obey both Boyle's law and Charles' law, because it is not possible. Okay, so when the Boyle's law means you are keeping the temperature constant, and Charles' law you have to change the temperature, therefore it is a simultaneous. So therefore, so it is not a single step process here. So I am making a two-step here. In the step one, let me assume that, so which are the microscopic quantities? Pressure, volume and temperature. Okay, let me take that it is a particular system of a gas whose pressure is P1, volume is V1 and temperature is T1. Okay, so just note that, see here, volume of the gas is V1. See, volume of the gas according to Boyle's law depends on the pressure, and according to Charles' law depends on the temperature. That means what? The volume of the gas depends on both pressure as well as the temperature. So V1 is the volume of the gas. When your pressure is, so V1 is the function of both. V1 is the function of both pressure as well as the temperature. So V1 is the volume of the gas when your pressure of the gas is P1 and the temperature of the gas is T1. Okay, so this is volume of the gas when pressure is P1 and temperature is T1. Okay, so are you getting me? So your final state, let me take this is the final state. Okay, so when you apply the Boyle's law and Charles law, definitely the pressure, volume and temperature changes. Okay, so if you increase the temperature, automatically volume also increases. If you decrease the pressure, volume of the gas increases. So therefore, see here, so let me take V2 is the volume of the gas when your pressure is P2 and temperature is T2. Okay, again just look at here. So V1, V2 is the volume of the gas. It depends on the pressure and temperature. Therefore, V2 is the volume of the gas when your pressure is P2 and your temperature is T2. Okay, I have to change the state of the system from P1, V1, T1 to P2, V2, T2. Okay, I have to make the change of the system from initial pressure, volume and temperature to final pressure, volume and temperature. You have to make it as P2, V2, T2 here. Okay, so in the first step, I have to use the Boyle's law. Okay, as I already said, see, you can't use both at the same time. So first, therefore, I am making the two step here. This is a step one. The step one. In the step one, okay, in the step one, I am using. In the step one, we are using. Okay, so we are using the Boyle's law. First, let me use the Boyle's law. Okay, so what does the Boyle's law says? You have to keep the temperature constant. Okay, to obey the Boyle's law, you have to keep the temperature constant. Therefore, what is the temperature here? What is the initial temperature? T1. So you have to keep the temperature constant. Therefore, I have to keep the temperature as constant. So let me take T1 as constant. Okay, so Boyle's law says that when you are keeping the temperature constant, okay, so your pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Okay, the pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So as the pressure changes, the volume also changes, but your temperature is kept constant. So after the step one, let me assume that, okay, so you are changing the pressure from P1 to P2. So pressure is your control. Okay, so volume depends on pressure and temperature. Okay, pressure is in my control. Therefore, I am changing the pressure from P1 to P2, but your temperature remains same. The temperature remains same. Therefore, what is the volume here? What is the volume of the gas? Volume of the gas is not equal to V2. Neither it is equal to V1. Reason is, see, volume of the gas is V1 when this pressure is P1 and temperature is T1. And volume of the gas become V2 when this pressure is P2 and temperature is T2. Okay, you can see here, neither the pressure is P1. Okay, it is not P1. Okay, so neither it is, if the pressure is P1 and if the temperature is T1, you can write V1 here. If the pressure is P2 and temperature is T2, then it becomes a volume V2. But it is neither it is V1 nor it is V2. That means it is some having intermediate volume. It is neither V1 or V2. Okay, so it is some other volume here. Let me call that some other volume as, okay, so let me call that some other volume as V dash. Okay, so V dash is the volume of the gas when your pressure is P2 and your temperature is P1. So this is my first step. Okay, in the first step, I use the Boyle's law. So Boyle's law says that pressure is inversely proportional to, so pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So that means what? The PV is constant. So that is the mathematical form of Boyle's law. The PV is constant. Okay, PV is constant. That means what? So if you take any pressure and volume, P1 V1, P2 V2, that should be P1 V1 should be equal to P2 V2. So therefore, here initially, what is the pressure? Your pressure is P1, your volume is V1. That should be equal to the product of pressure and volume at the final stage. Okay, in this stage, what is the pressure here? Your pressure is P2, and your volume is what? Your volume is V dash. Okay, if I use the mathematical form of Boyle's law, then I will get P1 V1 is equal to P2 V dash. Okay, so this is more, let me call it as equation 1. Okay, so you are getting the equation 1 by using the, okay, so in this first step, by applying the Boyle's law. Let me go for the second step. So this is the second step and the last step also. So this is step 2. Okay, in the step 2, let me use second law, that is Charles law. Let me use the Charles law. So Charles law says that you have to keep the pressure constant. I can see that at this stage 2 only, it has reached the final pressure. So there is no difficulty in keeping this pressure constant. Therefore, I am keeping this pressure P2 as the constant. Okay, so I am keeping the pressure P2 as constant. So what does the Charles law say? Volume is directly proportional to temperature. Okay, let me increase the temperature from T1 to T2. Okay, increase the temperature, automatically volume increases. Your pressure is P2 only. The pressure is kept constant. You are increase the temperature from T1 to T2. Therefore, your final pressure becomes P2. Final temperature becomes T2. Therefore, automatically your final volume becomes V2. Okay, so automatically your final volume becomes V2. Therefore, you can make T1, V1, T1 to T2, V2, T2 by taking only 2 steps. So it is not a single step process. You have to go for a 2-step. So in the step 1, you are applying the Boyle's law. At the step 2, you are applying the Charles law. So finally, okay, so simultaneously, first you apply the Boyle's law, then Charles law. Finally, you have converted P1, V1 to P2, V2, T2. Okay, if I want to write in terms of mathematical form, so V by T is constant. Now that is a mathematical form here of the Charles law. That means what? If V1 T1 is the initial pressure and volume and temperature, so it is V1 by T1 should be equal to V2 by T2, that is equal to V3 by T3. That is the meaning of constant here. So therefore V by T, here what is the initial volume? So in this particular case, the initial volume is V dash and the initial temperature is T1. So you can write V1 dash into T1 is equal to your final volume is, okay, not to V T1, it is V by T1. So V dash by T1. Okay, so that should be equal to what? V2 by T2. Let me call it as equation number 2. Okay, so this is an equation number 2. So I have to connect equation 1 and equation 2 because I require an equation of an ideal gas which obey both Boyle's law and Charles law. We have to represent in terms of an single equation. Okay, so can I? Okay, so is this possible? Yes, it is possible because the V dash is common in both the equations. So from the equation 1, yes, from 1 I can write. So from 1 I can say that what is V dash? Your V dash is P1 V1 by P2. Your V dash becomes P1 V1 by P2. Okay, so that so your equation 2 becomes, if I write V dash here, so this V dash is, it is V2 T1 by T2. Okay, V2 T1 by T2. Okay, so from equation 1 and equation 2, I had made, okay, V dash equal to certain terms here. So this V dash and V dash are same. Therefore, I can say that, so these two equations are same. If I write this as equation 3 and this as equation 4, so equation 3 should be equal to equation 4. Therefore, I can say that equation 3 is P1 V1 by P2. Okay, that should be equal to V2 T1 by T2. Okay, so if I rearrange the terms here, okay, so if I make the terms in such a way that this all 1 terms are getting on the one side and 2 terms are getting on the other side, therefore then your equation becomes, so P1 V1, if I take T1 on the other side, this becomes P1 V1 by T1. If I take P2 on the other side, then it becomes P2 V2 by T2. Now here, the equation becomes P1 V1 by T1. Now that becomes equal to P2 V2 by T2. Okay, so I have related pressure, volume and temperature in a single term. And if you look at this here, if you take any pressure, volume and temperatures, the product, okay, P1 V1 by T1, that remains same as that of the next pressure, volume and temperature. Okay, therefore in one step I can say that if you take any pressure, I generalize now. Okay, if you take any pressure, you take any volume, you take any temperature, then this product P V by T remains what? It remains constant. Okay, so we have related pressure, volume and temperature as how this pressure, volume and temperature are related. pressure, volume and temperature as related as PV by T is equal to what? Is equal to constant. Okay, you can see it. Okay, now see here, so if you take the PV, it is the Boyle's law, V by T is Joule's law. Okay, if I make both the laws, then your final answer is PV by T is constant. Okay, so finally, this is an constant. No, it depends on the nature of the gas. It depends on the mass of the gas. Okay, it depends on this constant, depends on nature of the gas. Okay, it depends on the mass of the gas here. Okay, therefore this constant is called specific gas constant. Initially we call this constant as a specific gas constant because it is constant for a specified gas or mass of that gas, the nature of that gas. Therefore it is called specific gas constant. Okay, but for the sake of discussion, we have taken some ideal behavior, and that behavior should be same for all the gases. Okay, it should not depend on the individual gases. That behavior should be depend on the all the gases. Therefore, we have not used this constant as a specified gas constant. We have okay. So we have continued our discussion here. Okay, for an example. So therefore, finally I can write PV is equal to some constant into T. Okay, this constant depend on the nature of the gas, the mass of the gas. Okay, they are intermolecular. Okay, so attraction so on like this. Therefore, it is called specific gas constant. But if I use the concept of Avogadro hypothesis, okay, then I have some interesting note here. Okay, that is, see, if you take now Avogadro says that, okay, so some hypothesis is there, Avogadro hypothesis is there. Avogadro says that if you take equal number of molecules, if you take the equal number of molecules, then you will have then it will have equal volume. Okay, in a gas. So this behavior you can see in case of gases. In case of gases, if you take the equal number of molecules, then it will have the equal volume. Okay, so volume of the gas is same independent of the nature of the gas. Okay, now that hypothesis is given by Avogadro. So this is called Avogadro hypothesis. Okay, so what does Avogadro hypothesis says that? So if you take two gas molecules, let me assume that two oxygen molecules, okay, and you have taken the two hydrogen molecules. Okay, so you have taken two hydrogen molecules, you have taken two oxygen molecules. Their numbers are same. How many numbers? Two. Then Avogadro says that they will have the same volume. That is called Avogadro hypothesis. Okay, if I use the Avogadro hypothesis, okay, if I take the equal number of molecules, Avogadro says that now the better is he is taking the 1 mole. If I take the 1 mole, if I take the 1 mole of the gas, 1 mole of the gas, okay, if I take any number here, okay, for the sake of discussion, for the calculation of something that the value of constant, I am taking 1 mole of the gas. 1 mole of the gas means it is same as that of the Avogadro number, that is 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 number of gas molecules. Okay, if I take 1 mole of the gas, 6.02 into 10 raised to 23 number of gas molecules, whatever may be the gas molecule, okay, it doesn't depend on the nature of the gas molecule, then they will occupy an volume of how much it is? 22. Okay, so it is 22.4 liters. 22.4 liters. Okay, that is nothing but in SI unit I can say that is 22.4 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. So if you take the 1 mole of the gas, you take any okay, so any nature of the gas, it may be hydrogen, it may be oxygen, it may be nitrogen, whatever may be, it doesn't depend on the nature of the gas here. If you take 1 mole of the gas, that is equal to 6.02 into, okay, so 10 raised to 23 number of the gas molecules, then they will occupy an volume of 22.4 liter. So this is very interesting. Okay, at certain, okay, for the same temperature. See the condition is that they should have the same pressure and temperature. Okay, the oxygen. So in the one container I have the oxygen, on the other container you have an hydrogen. So the pressure should be same here. If the pressure is 1 atmosphere, it is also your pressure should be 1 atmosphere. If you are keeping temperature as 280 Kelvin, on the other case also you have to keep the temperature as 280 Kelvin. Here if I taken 1 mole, okay, in the second container is also 1 mole, then they occupy what? They occupy the same. They occupy the same volume. Okay, so condition is very important. Okay, will occupy a volume of 22.4 provided. Okay, they should have at the same temperature. So that they should have at the same temperature and at the same pressure. Okay, system should be at the same temperature as well as the same pressure. Okay, let me use this concept here. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so if I take the 1 mole of any gas, if I take this 1 mole of the gas, if I take the, okay, so for the sake of discussion, if I taken the 1 mole of the gas to find the value of R, you can see here, then this ratio of PV by T, it remains constant. Okay, if you keep the same temperature, if you keep the same pressure for any gases, okay, if you take the equal number of molecules, then this term PV by T remains constant. Are you getting me? Before I said that is specific gas constant, depend on the particular pressure, particular temperature, particular nature of the gas, like this. Okay, but if you take, okay, if you mention all the gases at the same temperature and pressure, okay, if you take all the gases at same number of molecules, then this particular term remains constant. Now in that case, I call this constant as universal gas constant. Okay, if we take that particular conditions, then it becomes known, this constant is called universal gas constant, and we represent this constant by R. Okay, now that is same for, now this constant is same for all the gases present in the universe. Therefore, it is called universal gas constant. Okay, and its value is given by, okay, so for the sake of calculation of this value R, let me take the conditions as at STP. Now the same at any temperature and pressure. For the sake of calculation of this R, it may take a condition of STP because we know the, okay, so the standard temperature and standard pressure. Therefore, I am taking STP. At STP means standard temperature and standard pressure. What is standard pressure? The standard pressure is 1 atmosphere. Okay, that is nothing but your 1.013 into 10 raised to 5 Pascal. Okay, and standard temperature is 273.15 Kelvin. So it is roughly right 273 Kelvin. Okay, if I take 1 mole of the gas, then its volume is 22.4 liter. That means it is 22.4 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. Okay, if I substitute all these quantities, R is equal to PV by T. R is equal to PV by T, then it becomes 1.013 into 10 raised to 5 into the volume is 22.4 into 10 raised to minus 3 divided by, if you take 273, then if you substitute all this constant, you will get the value as 8.31. Okay, 8.31. You are getting the value of R as 8.31 for all the gases present in the universe. Therefore, we call it as universal gas constant. Okay, so are you getting me? Okay, so what is the unit? What is 8.31? It is a physical quantity. What is the unit here? You can see here. So what is the unit of pressure? The unit of pressure is Pascal, but if I write in terms of Newton and meter, so it is force per area, Newton per meter square, volume, meter cube, and temperature is Kelvin. So automatically this becomes 1 meter, it remains 1 meter cube by meter square, so Newton per meter per Kelvin. Yes, you can say that is Newton meter per Kelvin. Okay, so one more thing here, now here, so I have applied only for 1 mole. Okay, you can have any number of moles here, but the value of this one remains the same. Okay, if I have taken 2 moles, 3 moles like this. Okay, so therefore it is Newton meter per Kelvin. What is Newton meter? So this is force multiplied by distance. So the force multiplied by distance is nothing but joule. Therefore, what is the unit? Joule per Kelvin. Joule per Kelvin. But one more term is there. We have taken only for 1 mole. See here, this PV by T is constant. Okay, I have taken a 1 mole. Instead of 1 mole, if I have taken a 2 mole, then what happens? Very simple. If I have taken a 2 mole, then what is the number of gas molecule? That means it is multiplied by 2. Okay, so this term is multiplied by 2. Therefore, automatically, if I take a 2 moles, okay, so this term is multiplied by 2. So therefore, this gets multiplied, the 22.4 into 2. So here 2 comes here. Your final answer becomes 8.31 into 2. If I take a 2 moles. If I take a 3 moles, and this becomes 3 times that of the 1 mole of the, okay, so 6.02 to 10 raised to 23. Automatically, this becomes an 3 like this. Okay, therefore, if you have the n number of n moles, okay, so if you have the n moles, for n moles, your equation becomes PV by T becomes, if I take nR, okay, PV by T is equal to nR, therefore R can be written as, it is PV by NT. Okay, what is the n? N is nothing but mole, therefore here it becomes per mole. Okay, so therefore unit can be written as joule per Kelvin per mole. Okay, so this is about, so finally we have an equation for a perfect gas. The equation for the perfect gas is PV is equal to, okay, if you take n number of moles, your final equation is PV is equal to nRT. Okay, so therefore we have related macroscopic quantities of gas by using the gas laws, and our final equation is PV is equal to nRT. Okay, and the gases which obey this particular equation, no? Okay, any gases, the gases which obey this particular mathematical equation, we call it as ideal gas or perfect gas. Okay, so do you getting me? Okay, so now in the next discussion. Okay, so now this is about the macroscope. Again, we have related the macroscopic quantities here. Okay, we have not given an exact proof here. Okay, we have just taken the macroscopic quantity. We have followed a certain mathematical step here by introducing the, by relating the one term with respect to other term. We have made a final equation. Okay, but no, this is not 100% true. Okay, we have to give an exact derivation for this perfect gas equation, and this can be done by using kinetic theory of gases, where we are relating this pressure term with respect to a small microscopic quantities like the mass of the gas particle, the velocity of the gas particle, and finally we are getting certain equation. By using that equation of the pressure, then again I am going to derive the perfect, okay, derivation. I am going to give the perfect derivation of this gas laws. Okay, Boyle's law, Charles law, and they about the perfect gases. Okay, so let me take this particular discussion in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you for your kind attention.